Yeah, that's the last one, right? So yeah, during intermission, but someone will be backstage filling you in. I need to go do it here. Okay.
Like, you don't wait on the radio, right?
Yo, I'm mad excited for the show. My boy Azani's hosting. Real excited to see the contestants on stage. And yeah, like, let's get it popped.
I am so excited for this show tonight. Last year it was
great, so I'm really excited to see what happens tonight.
My homeboy Lucas is in there. I hope he wins. Ooh, Lucas.
I don't think Lucas, I support you at all, but I'm trying to see who the other contestants are.
My boy
get a feel for everyone else out there.
Justyn, I have to wish him good luck too.
Oh yeah, good luck to Justyn. He did well last year, but I think he might take the cake today.
For tonight's third annual Penn Gent.
We're here to celebrate Penn's black men and their accomplishments. These gentlemen have worked hard throughout the years to give back to the Penn and Philadelphia communities. Tonight, 9 contestants are competing for the title of Penn Gent 2012.
A Gent exhibits leadership, academic success, and a commitment to helping others, so we are definitely excited to work with someone who embodies these qualities. In terms of technicalities, the judges are looking for the following components. Poise. What does poise look like? Can you show them? Okay. Style. The manner in which the gents answer questions. Dance. And of course, the campus vote will be factored in. So without further ado, let's get the show started.
Your shoes are rocking, Aleisha. Oh my God.
To the same with my son missing. Push to the same with my son missing. Push to the same with my son missing. Push to the same with my son missing. No fellow up to my attention. Reintroduce yourself, Jen number 1. Hey.
Gent number 1. Can you tell everybody your name?
My name is Quajo Ajapan.
Alright, Quajo. And tell everybody what community service you're involved in.
Penn for UNICEF. I care about the kids everywhere around the world.
Okay. And what makes you a gentleman?
What makes me a gentleman? You know, my warm heart, my lighthearted spirit, and this smile.
Thank you, gentlemen.
I was trying to let that rock out a little bit there. Gen number 2, what is your name?
I'm Justyn Williams.
Shout out to Justyn alone. What community service are you involved with, Justyn?
Let's start. Starting back at home, I was involved with the DARE program. With the DARE program, I mentor elementary school students. I talked about the dangers of abusing drugs and alcohol. At Penn, I worked with Black Warden a couple of times with the Youth Action Initiative, helping high school students with like writing essays and stuff for trying to get into college. So this is community service that I'm involved in.
Good stuff, right? That was great.
What I about to do, homie, you don't even know how to do. I'm telling you I got enough clout for two, like a nigga turn blood. Straight West wheelchair, Jimmy, yeah. On my Chris Brown shit, I'm saying, oh yeah, give me.
Gen number 3, can you tell everyone your name?
I am Daniel Smart.
All right, Daniel, what community service are you involved in?
I am the founder of a non-profit philanthropic organization called Smart Feet that raises funds in order to buy and donate shoes to underprivileged areas and relief areas.
Good stuff, good stuff. Okay.
I'm the CEO.
And Daniel, what makes you a Gen?
What makes me a Gen? I'm a Gent because I always put myself last. You know, the needs of others come before my needs, and that's the way I live.
Very nice. Well, thank you, Daniel.
I think those Toms are right next to each other.
I like to get all the room to run around. Salute.
Shout out. Mysterious Gent number 4. What is your name?
How's everybody doing? I'm Kenny Patel.
What community service are you involved in, Mr. Patel?
I serve the community every day. I served as a peer counselor for the UPenn Upward Bound program and for the PennCap program.
What exactly is it that makes you a gentleman?
I would say my morals and values and my ability to kind of charm others and help them have a good day.
That was just...
All right, Gen number 5. Can you tell everybody your name?
Jameek James.
All right, Jameek. And what community service are you involved in?
At Penn, I serve the Caribbean community. You know, I'm from the Virgin Islands, and I try to make it create a family atmosphere for other people like me who could identify the culture or who might be far away from home to make things comfortable for them. At home itself, with my church, I've helped make a program to teach financial literacy to the congregation. Because that's something that we're lacking in Ireland, and I think it's in the Black community in general we're lacking. So I try to help out there.
Very nice, very nice.
We get an encore? Gen number 6. Act some chivalry already. What is your name?
My name is Dow John.
Thank you. What community service are you involved in, Dow?
Well, a lot actually. I started I'm gonna say a few. I started a nonprofit to help youth in South Sudan using sports and education to stop violence and poverty. So that's the biggest thing, international NGO. Also, in Philly, sometimes I go to high schools to go speak to the kids, whether if they have chapters on civil wars or what have you, I just go and talk to them. And I also participate in Read for America. You go to elementary schools and you read for the kids. And they can read better than me, I think. So.
What makes you a gentleman now?
That's a tough one, but within this context, refinement, intelligence, and culture. As you can see, intelligence, it's not because I know things. It comes because I really do not know, and every day I search to know more. So, I'm gonna let you cook, bro. I'm gonna let you cook.
I know you can feel the magic, baby. Turn motherfucking lights down. I mean, it's what you expected, ain't it?
Hello, Gen number 7. Can you tell everybody your name?
My name is Lucas O'Connor.
Oh, Lucas got some fans. Okay. What community service are you involved in?
Well, some of you may know I'm West Philadelphia born and raised. And so one of the organizations I'm involved with is Help Philadelphia, where usually I help with career training for some of the homeless families there, for their parents. And when I don't do that, then I'm usually babysitting their kids. That's like every other weekend. So that's something I do.
Lucas loves the kids, okay. And what makes you a gentleman?
I think the first thing that makes me a gentleman is my genuine nature. I try to be as true to myself and everybody else as possible, and just having an awareness that, you know, I'm not perfect, and I shouldn't really try to hold those high standards to everybody, and kind of give somebody a break every now and then.
I see the bow tie though. Let's see. What is your name, bow tie, Gen number 8?
My name is Mr. Ernest Owens.
What community service are you involved in?
Great question. I'm the Community Service Director for Black Warden. I'm also I do CSSP, mentoring youth in Philadelphia. I live in Forde, so shout out to CSSP. I'm also a brother of Alpha Phi Omega National Fraternity. So I do service year-round, all day, every day. I'm helping somebody out. And I just do service in general. If someone needs help with something, I'm just there. So.
What makes you a gentleman, baby?
What makes me a gentleman? Well, I think that being a gentleman, first and foremost, is that you have to be willing to motivate others and mentor others to follow a good path. I was grown up to believe, like Martin Luther King Jr. once said, that, you know, a true measure of man's strength is not in times of greatness, but, you know, in times of controversy. So I try to hone in on my beliefs and ideas and try to mentor other people, and also just, you know, just do right in general. Just it's a learning process. It's always revising and editing, but just learning how to just do right by others and just staying loyal.
Thank you.
And last but not least, tell everybody your name?
My name is Cameron Brown.
Okay, Cameron Brown. What community service are you involved in?
Well, I'm currently working for a nonprofit in West Philly called Investing in Ourselves. Investing in Ourselves was started by the former Director of Education at the Sarah Health Center. So Investing in Ourselves is a health and financial literacy nonprofit. So weekly we hold financial literacy, health, and fitness classes throughout the week. Also, in the past, I worked for CSSP for 2 years, where I mentored middle and high school students at the Drew School, which no longer exists, University City High School, Lee School, and also Comma G's. I've also worked for Philadelphia Freedom Schools, and I also sat on the board for the Kite and Key Society, which is Penn's oldest community service organization.
Okay, Cameron, what makes you a gentleman?
Now, coming from a very multicultural family, you know, with a lot of aspects of culture and traveling, I've certainly traveled all over the world and really learned how to become a true global gentleman, you know, in the way I eat, the way I dine, the way I carry myself throughout my daily life.
All right, thank you, Cameron.
intelligence, refinement, culture. Intelligence, refinement, culture.
Intelligence,
refinement, culture. I'm a gentleman because I'm using my past to guide my present to advance the future.
I'm a gentleman because of my unconditional love and care for my family and loved ones. It's a lifestyle. It's more than an adjective, if you will. Me, I'm a gentleman because I exude it.
I exhibit intelligence, not because of what I know, but because I know nothing. Therefore, I search each day to learn.
I like to think of myself as a refined young man. I think that refinement includes having an understanding of those around you, knowing how to feel, and how to treat that problem. Now I travel all over the world, and I exhibit culture because I know how to eat, dine, and dress like true culture.
If you come to Penn Gent and show us some love, I guarantee you that it'll be reciprocated.
Gent is modifying real check is here. You can't miss it. Just want me to give you a reason to come out with a competition this year.
That was a beautiful production.
So this poem is called Read This. When your poem wants to write a poem about the day language dies, and when your teeth perform like four thighs in the dark, grinding themselves into a pastoral sleep no scientist can explain, read this. Your poem will undress the other poem and pluck every word you have ever learned into a jar of eyelashes, offering them back to you. None of it will make sense. There are no words for the naked poem, and there are no words for the cold water poem waking you in the middle of the night because it knows someone needs to read this. The hour language is not enough. Read this like the apology you owe for all the blood and all the hurt your mother endured the day of your birth, and read this to the hand that taught you to flinch, and to the scratched disc image of a father forever turning his back on you in a grocery store, for the woman who first held him tender. And for every woman after that fell like sand, someone needs to read this eulogy for the castles he built in their punctuated hearts, because once language dies, your mother pressing a hammer into the belly of her wedding portrait is just another metaphor, and there are no more words for that. There will be no more words for the child who fears her mother's scars, and certainly there'll be no language for wanting to lick the perfume off the neck of a stranger in an airport. It smells just like the first time you trusted someone else with your own body. And I don't know what that says about me, but when your poem wants to revise this into the love poem, for the man who will toothpick every member of the English language so you have no more vocabulary to hide in, read this, let him undress you and pluck every hurt you have ever learned into a jar of eyelashes, offering them back to you. None of it will make sense. There are no words for this naked poem, and there are no words for the cold water poem waking you in the middle of the night, because it knows why we die when sleep is not enough. So read this in honor of him and say, sleep brought me closer to death, which raised me higher to God, who helped me carry the love I have slept a third of my life to recite back to you. Please read this like the hallelujah you owe for all the blood and all the hurt his mother endured the day of his birth, so that you might read this to the hand that taught you to praise, and to the scratched disc image of a lover forever spiraling next to you at a football game, for the woman who first held him tender. And for every single woman that fell like sand, someone needs to read this eulogy for the castles he has built in your punctuated heart, because language is dead. And this love is gonna gut you like a fish in his palm. And this last poem, surrendering to the final phrase, is just another metaphor. And thank God there are no more words for that.
Step, Kappa step, Sigma step, gangsters walk.
All right, thank you, gentleman number one. So we're going to ask you to pick a question out of the hat, and then you'll answer the question for our audience.
He's like, uh-oh.
All right. In your view, what is the biggest problem facing our young black men in our educational system today? We'll give them a second. We'll give them a second to simmer on that. We'll let you cook. Let me know. Repeat the question again. In your view, what is the biggest problem facing our young black men in our educational system today? You ready?
So as young black men, what do we face? Okay, so biggest problem facing the prejudices that we face every day, and the fact that we have to overcome that. You know, we're automatically at a disadvantage, but you know, as you know, we're proof here. We can make it in the system. So that's my answer.
All right, thank you, gentleman number one.
Beautiful answer. How can we better foster mentorship and uplift amongst the black men at Penn?
How can we better foster mentorship within the black community, well, black men at Penn? I say first start off, like, we have my crew, we have BSL. So first, we start with people, black men can go to my crew and reach out to Brian Peterson. BSL, we also have the family system. So if you want to, if a black man wants to get more involved within the black community and mentorship, they can also reach out with that. We have BMU, Black Men United. They can come to those meetings as well. So I feel like it's more so of black men reaching out and asking for help, because I noticed that that's the biggest problem for black men at Penn. They're not willing to really ask for help. So really just like getting rid of that shield that's stopping them from going to ask for help and just going to ask for it, because we have all the resources. So yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hey, you can't read it before I read it. Okay. If you decide to write an autobiography, what would you title it? That's deep. You ready? All right, you ready? All right.
If I were to write an autobiography, I'd call it Memoirs of the Smartest Man Alive. Would you like me to explain? Or just that's it? Okay. As many of you know, my last name is Smart. Actually, that's all I'm going to say.
Thank you, Mr. Smart. Smartest man alive, all right. Amen.
Like you, I want to rap and make soul beats just like you.
What has been your most memorable moment at Penn thus far?
I would say when I first got here. I came here for the Multicultural Scholars Preview Weekend. I mean, they basically said it all. As soon as I got here, I saw the school spirit, I saw how friendly everyone was, and it felt like I was entering into a new family. And I'm all about family, and it was just nice to be a part of this one.
Thank you. That's beautiful.
Gentleman number 4. Okay. What do black men add to Penn's community?
As black men, I think we add a different leadership. I also think that we could be a glue across our community. Also some strength, you know, a support system, not only for the males but also for some of the females as well.
All right, thank you. All right, here you go. How would you foster more school spirit in the Black population at Penn?
Can you give me a second to look?
Okay.
Well, you say more spirit in the Black community.
More school spirit in the Black population at Penn.
Well, I think you know, one of the issues I see in the Black community at Penn is a lot of the times you'll notice there's often talks about the Black community and how there's sort of a division, and we can't really. Sometimes it's hard for us to come together. Sometimes we see it in the DP going back and forth with each other, and I just think that we need to learn to handle ourselves better and give a better portrayal of our community to you know, the other communities at Penn. That way we'll get more respect. I think that we'll be much more enthusiastic about what we have for ourselves. So I think, you know, breaking down and getting through the divides in the community, that's really where it starts.
Very nice, thank you.
Okay.
Good morning.
What are those? Okay. How would you say you can foster unity in the Black community at Penn?
Well, I think that we need to look at what we have alike more than what we have different. I think we spend a lot of time separating ourselves in casa, pasta, and things like that, but just recognizing that we're all part of African diaspora and we all have a lot in common, and maybe when we focus more on that, we can get unity.
Gentleman number 9, please come out.
Good morning. Good morning.
Okay, you get the last question in the hat. Okay. How could the University of Pennsylvania better aid Black men as they aspire for greatness? That sounds like Wale's, right?
It's a good question. I'm a huge believer in educational, personal, and emotional support. So anything that the University of Pennsylvania can do to better support Black men at Penn, I guess, would be the best way to help us get through our 4 years and on to the future.
Very nice. Thank you, gentleman number 9. That concludes our school spirit section of the show. Thank you, gentlemen.
We'll see you gentlemen later.
We'll see you in a second. And right now, we will have a performance by the lovely premier African-American acapella group at The Inspiration. So, would you all please come up?
I may be young, but I'm ready to
What does a Penn Gent wear? He's just trying to chill.
I'm not really sure. Do y'all know? Y'all know what a Penn Gent?
Let's see.
Let's find out.
Number 2. Gen number 2. Here we go. Is that Mickey Mouse? Okay. The slip-ons. Where's Gen number 3 though? There he is. The SpongeBob to Kendrick though? Gen number 4.
Where are you?
lovely lady from the elements. Don't be startled. Don't be startled.
Come on, ladies.
Yo, David has his eyes on somebody. I don't know what it is.
Ladies up here. So, since you are all gentlemen, you all know how to tie a tie, correct?
They must know.
They must know, right? To be a gentleman, that's a must.
Absolutely.
So, each one of you is going to be a competition to see who can tie their tie on their lady the fastest. So, we're going to, don't start prepping, okay?
Hey, no more practicing.
They should be pros. So, on the count of 3, you will start. And once you have completed, step forward with your partner, okay? 1, 2, 3.
Come on, Quaker.
Go.
Look at different techniques, okay?
Yo, can I have you see who's done first? Let me see who's done.
We have a winner.
Let me inspect that knockout.
Somebody's looking kind of sloppy, Gents.
Hold on. It's not only about speed, it's about quality, people.
Oh, Lucas. What's this?
Okay. They came and took it away. Round of applause for Penn.
Thank you so much, ladies.
Thank you, ladies. Study it. This isn't the contest for the best conversation. Gen number 8, where you at?
I can take conversation. Oh, that's fine. Okay. All right. Best pickup line.
Hey, how you doing? Is that a Tiffany necklace I see?
It is. Thanks for noticing.
That's nice. You know, I want to take you out for more than just breakfast.
That one has the crowd's approval.
Okay.
Who's up next?
Okay, I'm under control.
Ernest is like, what do you expect?
Alright. Best pickup line.
Aleisha, I noticed you noticed me. So, I just wanted to put you on notice that I noticed you too.
Somebody beat you to it, bro. Somebody beat you to it. I don't know who it was.
Heard that one, but you know. Hey,
throw that one in the recycling bin.
Wait, he said he was praised. He said he took inspiration. That's fine. All right, next gen, come on up. Ooh, the onesie.
Hi.
Excuse me, miss. Did it hurt? When you fell from heaven?
It wasn't too painful, thanks. Okay, next gen.
I need better.
Hey, leave my gents alone, okay?
Come on, Mickey Mouse.
Mickey Mouse. I know you got a good one. Come on.
Hey, you like Twitter? Yeah, the topic. Hold on.
Drop the mic like Kanye, bro. Drop the mic like Easy. Okay. Gamma, what's the policy on redos? Okay, let's go.
You like Twitter? I see you on my timeline. You always on my mind. You're that trending topic that I see all the time. Forget Team Follows Back because I only follow you.
He said he only follows me. That was cute. Hey, don't hate on the poet. Okay. All right, next gen. I know we got some girlfriends in the audience, so be careful. I'm not trying to...
kneel because I realized that you were way above my level.
Isn't that just cool? That was good, y'all.
We're all equals here. We're all equals. Hey now.
Aleisha, have you ever fell in love? Well, you better watch your step around me.
Alright, fall in love. That's it.
I don't know what that was.
Can I offer you a penny for your thoughts? As a matter of fact, can I offer you 3? 1 penny for you, 1 penny for me, 1 penny for our minds, engaged not so sexually, but getting closer as we approach a climatic altitude of nude, sensational conversation, because I'm trying to know everything about you from the neck up.
Big shout out to Penn's basketball team.
That was state warranted. I like that. All right. Last but not least.
Well, I understand.
All right.
Hey, Empress. You ever been to the tropics, girl? The tropics, the islands. You're Bayesian? Perfect. Take you to the VI. After you, me an Empress.
I mean, the more you understood that, it's probably great. Is that all of our gents?
That was all. Thank you, Gents. I am so flattered. Thank you.
Thank you, gents. We'll see y'all later. Okay, now we're going to go into 5 minutes of intermission. If you have to use the bathroom, want to stretch out, go ahead. We'd like to thank all of our judges for being here this evening. We know choosing a winner is going to be a very tough decision.
And before we get started again, I'd like to remind everyone of tonight's true purpose. After numerous men around campus applied to be in the show, the Gamma chapter selected gentlemen who truly exhibit leadership and a commitment to their community. Tonight, we'll crown the victor, who not only exhibits these qualities, but also understands how to carry himself throughout each of these segments. We look forward to participating in numerous community service initiatives with our 2012 Penn Gent.
Beautiful. That being said, the point breakdown is as follows. So we have campus vote, you out there, your contribution to the competition. Round of applause for yourselves for contributing to this competition. 10 points goes to first place in the campus vote, 9 to second, so on and so forth. Next, we have the Q&A that we all witnessed here. Model skills / poise, style, dress / swag, dance, the beautiful dance in the beginning, and the perfect score would be a 50 if there's a perfect gentleman among us.
Now we have our final section of the evening. A truce gen always means business. So let's bring out the gents in their finest business professional attire.
Let me get gent number 1.
Looking dapper. I like that pop of color.
Salmon shirt with the iPhone. I see the blazer. Okay. Those gold buttons are doing it for you, bro.
Does he make the hair on the back of your neck stand up? Let's see.
Beautiful. It's a good one. How do you see yourself changing the world in the next 5 years?
So, as a gentleman, I don't truly believe that I'm the only one who can make change in the world. It takes all of us together, wholeheartedly, working as a cohesive unit. But me changing the world in 5 years, just being me, making other people laugh, smile, enjoy themselves, make a better world for everyone, you and me.
Like that
Business swag, business casual swag.
I like it, I like it.
The dark turquoise tie, followed by the black suit with the curly top.
How will or have you helped others to become gentlemen?
Okay, back at home, I mentor a couple of students back in my high school. Everything I learned about being a gentleman was actually learned from my mother. My father really wasn't in my life, so I really value women a lot because my mother and my grandmother were instrumental in my life. So I make sure whenever I mentor younger boys that I tell them to value women and to just listen to their mother. So that's what I do. So
the sky blue shirt with the Neo rendition. 3 buttons. Apparently there's some side game among us. Ooh.
Did y'all see that? Yes, Mr. Smart.
How can we get more men to respect young women? Whew. Whew.
That's a fan favorite.
I'm sweating.
No pressure.
I think we need to start by being conscious of how the black culture portrays women to begin with. You hear in songs, you hear the degradation of women, the objectification of women, and as such, if our young men grow up listening to that and believing that that's the way that life is, then they're ultimately not going to be able to be on that path that leads to being a gentleman. And as such, we need to go back to our roots and really start with the education of young people in order to understand, or help them understand, how to, as my fellow gent here, Justyn, say, to really understand women and really value and prize them as they should be.
We've been talking for so long, now we're
All right, gent number 4. What do you see a woman's role as in the life of a gentleman?
This is a very easy question.
Thank you.
Give me a second. The woman's role is always to be the leader. I think we need women that have the ability to know that you are truly society's greatest gift. And without a woman, what would a man be? I don't know, I read the Bible a lot, and at the start, after they created Adam, they said he couldn't be there without Eve.
Say that, King.
3 buttons, 2 buttons. Gent number 5. What is the biggest challenge faced by our youth today?
I think the youth right now, they're lacking places for them to, not places for them to express themselves because we have social media, but I think in terms of like physical locations, especially like playgrounds or like recreation centers, with the government going through the crisis, a lot of those things have been the first thing on the chopping block. So I feel that, we could use more things, more physical locations so we could come together, as a community, because communities, build families, and, village to raise a child mindset. I think that's something that we might be lacking, or not lacking, but, well, it's something that we need to emphasize more.
Now.
All right. It was your grandma? Okay, tell her we said hi. All right. Name one living person who has inspired you and helped you to become a gentleman.
Okay, so if I say Coach Allen, they're gonna say that's cheating, but like he's helped me a lot in terms of, because he got that Italian swag. Sometimes, the funniest thing was Halloween last year. I dressed up as him. It was the funniest thing ever. But he does have a lot of swag in that department. But I say probably my mom, because when you talk about being a gentleman, I think what that embodies is leadership, the 6 pillars of character. And she raised us by herself, and she.
Hey. Nothing needs to be said here.
Oh, we got some singers in the audience. Y'all be singing?
I know this may be hard for you. Name one thing to improve about yourself, to make yourself more of a gentleman.
To be honest, I can actually name exactly what it is, and it's something very concrete. It's not really ideal and everything. One thing I actually have trouble with is sometimes remembering to keep people's names with their faces, and I always find myself, somebody will come up to me and say, "Do you remember who I am?" And I just won't be able to keep it. So to be honest, I think that's a really big thing. Like I feel like I'm being disrespectful when I
Okay.
The hand
See
in the
gray,
pocket swag? Okay.
3 buttons.
All right.
Unbutton that bottom one, bro.
Oh, is that Louis? Oh, very nice. All right, Ernest, what makes a man a gentleman?
What makes a man a gentleman is his ability to have resilience. I think that it's important that, when we fall, we need to get ourselves back up. I think a lot of brothers on campus, we get hardships, we get issues that come to us, and then we just give up and we just stop. But resilience and just having your head up and just keep on moving is what's going to really get you the girl, what's really going to get you a job, and what's definitely going to keep you, relevant. So having resilience, I think, is very important for a gentleman.
Nice. I'm with you, bro. What type of woman does a true gentleman look for? Ew.
Certainly, I would say a man who can fully exhibit intelligence, refinement, culture, a man who can carry himself properly, and also completely apologize about that. I think a lot of the same responses carry on for a woman. Certainly a woman who is refined, who is intelligent, who is cultured. A woman who can speak well, who can carry herself well. And also a woman who is educated and can treat her man the same way that he would treat him.
Thank you.
Pause.
You continue to exude intelligence, refinement, culture, generosity, and a genuine dedication.
All my gentlemen step backstage as we tally our final votes. Thank you.
And right now we will have another performance from the Excelano Project.
I'm a part of the Excelano Project, and I'll be doing the piece that I did for our show last week, and it's called Saboteur. I'm trying to get over a guy I never dated. He introduced himself via alias using a smile instead of his given name, but I know his name.
Fist between my teeth like a thermometer, measuring the warmth that brings my insides. We don't speak much. Or rather, he speaks in epithets to which my responses can only hold a torch. He comes when the wind blows and I am breathless, burying what I want for what sounds like honesty, because lying to myself gets easier when I pronounce it correctly. It's my fault we are nothing but conversation. My first language was love, or my first love was language, I think, but that gets lost in the syllables. In my mind, we love in paradox. We share a silent romance and words don't muddle intention. Our hands whisper in my memories exhale. I imagine all of this between hellos and goodbyes, the few murmurs I can manage with ease. I think I need to make myself easier to love. Because his smile ricocheted from my fantasy of us to my diaphragm in a lonely gasp. It reminds me that breathing is labor if you don't do it purposefully, and that loving is labor whether you breathe purposefully or not, so that these days I should aim to enjoy the work. I don't want to work on him, but my nature blossoms in self-restraint, so God bless the men that I haven't touched, the men who might have built an altar to the rise and fall of my chest. God bless the men who could have hurt me or me them. God bless them all. He submerges me in waves of attention. I curse my chest for such a violent reaction to a warm gaze. I have asthma. If it's any consolation, he says, you'll never take breathing for granted. I wonder if he can feel the air locked within my ribs, or if I can perform CPR on myself if I hold it there too long. You see, I'm trying to convince myself of the advantages of being alone. That sabotaging relationships is the highest form of self-preservation, and that breathing is only special in cemeteries and seas. You see, I tend to forget to breathe in the presence of gentle beings like him. I have asthma. But breathing is beautiful, isn't it? It's beautiful that we breathe. Sometimes in unison, but always out of need. It is beautiful that the sea swallows air like I swallow words, like his hands might swallow mine if I let them. His lips part seas to let words pass through, each with a heart of their own, and hearts are made to share their contents. I was taught never to take more than I was willing to give. Hearts and words are no exception. Inhale the sea with me. Kneel in its shallow breaths and whispers. I promise to part my lips in returning my introduction, even if you already know my name. Thank you.
This song is long as a mug. Who else needs some Trinidad James right now? Who needs some Trinidad James? Seeing thumbs up, thumbs down, I don't know which way to go. Yeah, Meredith Bacon is the DJ, ladies and gentlemen. Round of applause for the DJ.
That's my the DJ.
I'm sorry.
And don't forget, guys, if you have your evaluations, please. DJ Ma'u, what's up?
Yo, DJ Ma'u, I'm gonna need you to turn up. Like, you putting the crowd to sleep right now.
Wale, fingers crossed. We can make our own soundtrack. We asked to turn up, I guess
that's the turn up I was asking for.
But our duet was popping.
This is obviously the most DJ confusion on the ones and twos, ladies and gentlemen.
That's all right. We got MC Azani, MC Lee on the mic. What's up?
Gold all in my track. Gold all in my right. Gold all in my right.
Hey.
Don't believe in Joe White. Don't believe in Joe White.
What? I don't know that song.
Yeah.
No. Chill.
Finish college, never hit the mall if I ever get it all. Better like I'm dressed
Young lactose, I ain't trying to brag though. I just know I'm that dope.
They're obviously riding a feet.
Pass out. Wake up. Fade it. Fade it.
All right, looks like we.
Hold on. The results are in. Round of applause for the Lucas McCandrews to step forward. William McCalla.
Ernest Owens to step forward.
Y'all to step forward. Okay, so what we're going to do is, we're going to go put our hands above these three gentlemen's heads, and we're going to want to hear some audience feedback on how you feel about each gentleman.
So, if you think that Ernest Owens is our 2012 Penn Gent, let me hear some noise. Alright.
Can we have our gentlemen step to the right, please? The microphone is killing us right now.
Oh yeah, struggling with this, okay.
Okay, there we go.
Alright, if you think that Lucas is our 2012 Penn Gent, and if you think that Dow is our 2012 coming in third, and for our 2012 Penn Gent, third place goes to, drum roll please, Mr. Dow Job.
That's sportsmanship. That's what Jeremy.
I like it. I don't know. Who is it, guys? Who is it?
Now in second place in the 2012 Penn Gent competition, we have Lucas McCandrews.